so I'm Gavin from Noizze and I'm here with Plini.
Yes, I am Plini. I'm from Australia and I'm currently still living in the wrong time zone.
Okay, how are you finding the sort of like changeover and
It's
everything?
been interesting. We got to London a couple of days ago and rehearsed because a quarter of my band is not from Australia.
Oh,
So we
okay.
sort of had to figure out how playing music worked.
Oh, okay, cool. How did you end up in sort of like that kind of dynamic?
So the fourth member currently is Aaron from Intervals.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He invited me to tour with him in the States a couple of months ago, so I
Cool.
was playing guitar in his band, which is predominantly Canadian.
Oh,
And
okay.
then when we got this tour happening with Animals, to sort of reduce the budget, we just like completely shared. So we basically got 5 people that makes up 2 bands instead of 8 or 9.
Fair enough. That's cool. How do you find it, like sort of like juggling projects like that?
It's been interesting, especially because in the last couple of months I recorded an album as well, so I had to balance recording an album, learning his stuff, learning my stuff. But I mean, that's sort of, it's good to be busy.
Yeah, no, definitely. I really do hear that. Cool. So have you been enjoying the festival so far? Are you excited to see a couple of bands and things?
Yeah, I've only been here a couple of hours, but it's just crazy seeing like every single friend I have from the internet in one place.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so good.
Have you been to Tech Fest before?
Yep, played here last year. That was the only gig I've played in this continent. I guess I can't say Europe, or I can say Europe.
Oh,
What's the verdict? Should I not bring this up?
Let's not bring this up. I'm terrible when it comes to politics anyway. Yeah. Is there any other bands that you're really looking forward to seeing this year?
100% Disperse, because they're like one of my favorite bands.
Cool.
Last year, Mike, who plays drums, and Yakov, who plays guitar, played with me at Tech Fest. But I still haven't seen them play, so I'm super excited about that.
That's cool.
Unfortunately, we have to leave tomorrow, but I would have loved to have seen Protest and BT Bam and Destiny Potato.
Cool. We're also sort of like interested in sort of like some of those sort of like up and coming bands and everything. I wondered if there was any bands that you'd sort of like seen out and about or on tour perhaps that you're quite excited about.
There's a band called Heavy Metal Ninjas who are from New Zealand and they played last year. And that was the first time I really heard their music and that completely blew me away. Again, last year, Agent Fresco, and like you see in a year, like they've gone from crazy reaction at Tech Fest to like crazy summer festivals all across Europe and stuff like that.
Cool. Is there any advice that you'd give to sort of up and coming bands and sort of people that are just starting out?
I mean, Tech Fest is like a great place for that sort of thing. I don't know about legitimate advice because I feel like I'm really lucky. I mean, like I work hard and I do what I can to make things happen. But at the same time, it sort of just relies on people listening to the music and liking it and sharing it. And you can't really force that. But I guess if you're writing music that you personally enjoy, then at least you've got that.
Yeah. Cool. So you're from Australia and everything, specifically yourself, but you wouldn't say, did you say that you've got members from everywhere, so you wouldn't say you're necessarily an Australian band?
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's also weird because it's like, I guess when we perform, we are a band, but the name is my name. And a lot of people don't know that my name is my actual name. So it's sort of like, it's a confusing situation. But I'm sort of happy not really knowing.
Fair enough.
We just sort of converge and make sound.
I was just kind of curious about like the Australian metal scene, like how's that faring and things over there?
I mean, it's small, it's not great. Like, the live music scene in general isn't that great because I mean you do a national tour and it's literally like 5 cities and there's just not that many people to go to it. But there are heaps of crazy amazing Australian bands like Carnival and Dead Letter Circus and stuff. But I think if I'd grown up 20 years ago it would have been a lot different because I would have relied more on actually building a local live following, whereas now it's just like, hey internet, I'm gonna come to Tech Fest.
It's definitely interesting, sort of like how sort of like the internet sort of like changed the face of music and things. Do you think that sort of like the things with the, like digital downloads and stuff like that is a bit of is this a good strong direction for like musicians and bands to get out there?
Personally, yes, because without that I would be useless and nowhere. But it's also starting to get a little bit weird because like stuff like iTunes, the concept of buying a digital release is getting strange because I think, I don't know, I might be wrong, but I think now when you buy something from iTunes, they still own the files.
Yeah, this seems to be something that's very topical actually. It's interesting that it kind of came up and everything, because I hear that a lot of bands don't make that much like money out of sort of like the digital downloads,
things.
And then of course there's the rights that ends up being in really bizarre places.
And I guess it is a weird concept because you have like, if I make a CD, I have this physical thing, and like when it goes from me to you, that's now yours. But now I'm like sort of, it's like leasing out the opportunity to listen to it.
Yeah.
It's like selling an experience.
Yeah.
Which is sort of cool, I think. But I guess the way that you make that a fair business structure for musicians and everything is, I guess that's being worked out at the moment because you got like record labels that are failing.
Yeah.
And
I suppose so.
like independent bands like me and Intervals and stuff who are touring and having a great time.
I also find it very interesting, sort of like when you get sort of like instrumental metal and things like that. Do you feel like this is a sort of like scene that's kind of like thriving at all?
Like a what thing, sorry?
Sort of the instrumental kind of like metal and everything. It seems to be something relatively new. It seems to be thriving. I'm starting to find more and more of the bands out there. Is this sort of like a more of a thing? Do you feel? Is there a bit more of a?
Probably is. I mean, the other thing is you wouldn't know like pre-internet. All you would know is the bands that are already doing it. But I mean now, because you can just sort of find something and find things like it really easily, you can notice all the different projects. But then I guess because of that, you get more people interested in doing it, and then it just like sort of compounds.
Has there been many influences in that kind of like area?
Like all the classic guitarists when I was growing up, like Steve Vai, Petrucci and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I just want to finish with a bit of a sort of like strange one. One in there for fun. What would you say is the winning combination of like alcohol and food for you?
Probably Italy.
Yeah?
Like, I don't know why. Like, it's weird because my name is sort of Italian, but I have no Italian heritage. But I feel like I could happily live in Italy and eat Italian food every day.
Anything specific?
Like even the simplest pizza, like just mozzarella, tomato base, and basil, and like a nice Italian beer.
Okay.
I'm not like a huge drinker, but that's like, if that is happening on this tour, then I'm going to be very happy.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, thank you very much for your time today. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed this festival.
Thanks, dude.